Okay, let's dive right in. We're looking at some really unprecedented events in the Middle East. Mid-June 2025, Iran launches a direct attack on Israel.
Yeah, direct is the key word there, not proxies this time.
Exactly. We're talking nearly 400 ballistic missiles and, what, over 1,000 drones? The sheer scale.
Mm.
It just immediately raises questions, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Like, how many actually got through? Is this kicking off something, much wider?
And what does it really signal for stability in the region? That seems like the biggest question looming.
Well, precisely. Because this feels like a historic shift. We've sort of moved past that phase of proxy warfare, which always had that layer of deniability.
Right. Plausible deniability is gone now.
It's gone. This is direct long-range missile assaults. It pulls everyone in much more directly, changes the stakes completely. That volume you mentioned, 400 missiles, that 1,000 drones, it's not just firepower, it's a strategic message.
And these were just random launches. Iran was targeting major Israeli cities, Tel Aviv, Haifa, Beersheba, even Jerusalem.
And using some pretty advanced stuff, too, from what we're hearing.
Yeah, exactly. Things like the Fatah-1 hypersonic missiles. And for you listening, hypersonic means incredibly fast, very hard to track and intercept.
Right. Makes defense a nightmare.
Plus, these Qassam Basir maneuverable re-entry vehicles, they can change path on the way down. And EMAD high-precision missiles. It seems like they were specifically designed to try and beat Israel's air defenses.
You mean Iron Dome, David Sling, Arrow 3, the systems Israel relies on?
Those exact ones. So the big question then is, how did those defenses actually do against that kind of barrage?
It's quite remarkable, actually, Israeli defenses. And they got significant help in the U.S. D-Cheat and Patriot batteries were involved.
By altitude stuff, yeah.
Right. They managed to intercept over 90% of everything coming in, which is, frankly, an incredible statistic against that volume and sophistication.
Over 90%, wow. But that still leaves nearly 10% getting through.
It does. And that's the hard reality. Around 20 missiles, maybe a few more, are thought to have reached urban areas. We saw reports of damage to facilities like Soroka Hospital in Beersheba.
Oh, wow.
And tragically, civilian deaths. Reports hover between 24 and 26 people killed. So even a 90+% success rate has a real devastating human cost.
Yeah, that's a stark reminder. Okay, let's talk about the drones for a second. Over 1,000 launched. That number is just huge.
It is. But the impact seems different there. Most were intercepted, apparently well before reaching Israeli airspace. Analysts think maybe less than 200 actually got in.
And did any hit targets?
It seems none caused direct hits, which raises the question, what was the point then?
Right. If they weren't hitting things, what was the strategy?
Well, even without direct hits, think about the psychological impact, the logistical strain, constant sirens across the country, evacuations, alerts impacting schools, hospitals, airports.
It just wears people down, constant high alert.
Exactly. It's psychological warfare almost, using volume to create fatigue, anxiety, disruption. Even if the individual drones don't hit, the threat does damage. It's a different kind of assault.
Okay, so that's the Iranian side, but this isn't happening in a vacuum, right? Israel's been hitting back.
Oh, definitely. There are reports, and some of this involves alleged Mossad sabotage too, behind the scenes, suggesting quite an impact on Iran's capabilities.
Oh, wait.
Sources are saying maybe 40% of Iran's missile launchers have been destroyed, and that their missile stockpile, maybe around 2,000 to start, is getting used up pretty fast.
So there's a significant attritional element happening alongside the overt attacks.
Absolutely. It's a multi-front conflict, some visible, some less so. And while all this is happening, the diplomatic track is running hot too.
Right. The U.S. is now fully backing Israel's defense, after maybe some initial hesitation about getting directly involved?
Correct. You've also got former President Trump calling for Iran's unconditional surrender, which adds another layer. And then the G7, the UN. Everyone's pushing hard for de-escalation, trying to pull things back from the brink.
It really feels like more than just another flare-up. It feels like a turning point, a new phase defined by direct confrontation, advanced tech.
And precision weaponry meeting overwhelming volume. It's testing the limits on both sides. And tragically, as you said, civilians are caught in the middle.
We're seeing the world's most advanced missile tech, both offensive and defensive, being tested in real time. For effectiveness, yes, but also sustainability. Can you keep intercepting attacks at this scale?
That's the core question, isn't it? It forces a hard look at deterrence theory in this new age. Is defense purely about technology, or does volume change the equation entirely?
So when you take a step back from this deep dive, the really big takeaway is how profound the implications are. this direct Iran-Israel fight.
It changes the regional landscape, maybe globally, too.
And it leaves us with a critical question, I think. In an era where these incredibly sophisticated defense systems are facing just unprecedented barrages, what does this conflict tell us about the actual limits of technology in warfare?
Right. And what does that mean for future conflicts? For stability, can technology alone guarantee security against determined adversaries with massive arsenals?
Something definitely to keep thinking about as the situation continues to develop.